In the beginning of the movie, we see a girl named Gosia, who used to live with her mother in a small village far away from the city. And Gosia is very beautiful. And just now, Gosia had reached the age of her youth. But he had no friends, so he knew nothing about physical pleasure. The next morning, Gosia gets up and goes to the stable. She starts milking the cows. Then she takes them to the forest to graze. Then, leaving the cows to graze in the jungle, Gosia sits under a tree and spends time with a dog. After which she takes off all her clothes and takes a bath in a nearby lake. But suddenly she feels as if someone is watching her secretly. When she looked around, she could not see anyone, so she thought it might be an illusion. After that, Gosia started lying there and resting. But then she saw someone's shadow on her. Then Gosia also felt that shadow. And thinking about this, she could not sleep that night. Then her mother asked her, "Why are you awake so late at night?" But Gosia couldn't answer her mother. She was worried about the changes in her body. She was ashamed to tell her mother. The next day, Gosia went to the forest with her cows. She sat under a tree and rested. Then she saw a man who was sitting there making a painting. Then Gosia goes to that man, and that man shows him his painting, in which he had made a nude picture of Gosia. Then Gosia, seeing her nude picture, falls unconscious there. Then that man gives Gosia some water and brings her back to consciousness. And asks him, "Do you live here?" Gosia replies, "Yes, I live nearby." She also asks the man, "Where do you live?" The man replies, "I have no address. I make paintings here and there, and I go and live wherever I like." Saying this, he comes close to Gosia and touches his body. Gosia likes the touch of that man, but she is shy and leaves. The next day, Gosia goes to the same place and starts looking for that man. But she does not see that man anywhere. Suddenly, that man starts calling out to her. Hearing this, Gosia goes to him, who was sitting there and making a painting. Then that man shows Gosia his paintings. Seeing those paintings, Gosia feels very good. Then Gosia asks the man, "Why do you only make my nude pictures?" To which the man replies, "Because you are very beautiful, and look at your hand, how beautiful it is." After that, he says to Gosia that you know what your young body wants from you. Gosia said, "No, I don't know anything about it." Hearing this, the man showed Gosia a nude photo of him and said, "Your body needs physical pleasure, which I can give you." Saying this, he asked Gosia to take off all her clothes. Then Gosia took off all her clothes. Then that man touched her body and started to excite her. Then Gosia couldn't control herself and they both started to become intimate. After that, we see that Gosia is very happy to meet this man. And because of happiness, she couldn't sleep the whole night. And she wakes up early in the morning. Seeing this, Gosia's mother began to wonder how Gosia had changed so much. After that, we see that Gosia used to go to the forest every day and have fun with that man. Then that man, along with loving Gosia, also started teaching her the ways of the world. How to sit and eat, how to talk to people, and much more. He also brings a lot of new clothes for Gosia. Gosia loves all those clothes. Then one day, due to the rain, they both sit under the same tree and start talking to each other. Then that man gives Gosia a book and says, "I have taught you everything. And if you want to know more about physical pleasure, you can read this book, in which everything about physical pleasure is written in detail." And they both were talking that only then some children see them. Then Gosia gets scared seeing those children. But that man says to Gosia, "Do not pay attention to them." After which Gosia comes to her house and starts reading the book. But then her mother comes there and takes the book from her. After which she asks him, "Where did you get this book?" On which she says that a man gave her this book in the jungle. Hearing this, her mother gets very angry and says, "I don't send you to the jungle to do all this. If you get pregnant, I won't leave you." Hearing this, Gosia gets very angry. But she didn't want to argue with her mother. Then her mother says, "This Sunday we will go to church, and there you confess all your sins in front of your father." After that, on Sunday, they both go to church. And here, Gosia confesses all her sins in front of her father. And she says, "I know that I should not have done all that. But still, I could not stop myself. And I have been intimate with him many times. So, forgive all my sins." After hearing this, the father tells his mother that Gosia is still a child, and she has just entered puberty. At this age, children often make mistakes. But once you take Gosia to the doctor and find out if she is pregnant, then listening to the father, Gosia's mother takes her to the doctor. But after her checkup, the doctor tells Gosia's mother that. Her mother was shocked to hear this. The doctor had told her that Gosia was still a virgin and had not been physically with anyone. This meant that no one had touched Gosia yet. But what had Gosia done so far? On the same night, when Gosia was sleeping in her room, that man comes to Gosia, kisses her and wakes her up. Seeing him, Gosia says to him, "I want you to stay with me forever." Hearing this, the man says, "I am here with you, and I will not leave you and go anywhere." Saying this, the man disappears. Actually, there was nothing like that unknown man. It was all Gosia's imagination. Whatever we had seen so far, it was all a delusion of Gosia's mind. Because Gosia had just become a teenager, and she was feeling the need for physical intimacy. And because she was alone, she started imagining this. And with this movie ends here.